So, I think we are just about ready to have them start here in a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just give them the floor, so whenever they are ready to do the countdown, they are welcome to.
Okay. Hi,
Hello, everybody.
I'm Absent.
I'm Faarnia.
So, I guess the countdown. I'll start the game, and then time starts when movement starts. So, I'll just start the game now. And
All
then
right.
time starts after the adventure begins. Screen is gone. Let's start moving.
So this is Vortex, and for those who have not seen it, it is broken. We're gonna try and show you a lot of really broken stuff. Um, the category can sort of be thought of as an extension of cheat percent. The run starts with the entry of the All Worlds cheat, um, to permit the balloonists to take Spyro wherever he wants to go. And the goal of the run is to run to the end of every level and get out of the golden spinning end of level vortex as fast as possible in every level, except for loot, and then defeat Nasty Nork. So, Absent holds the record. It is a 21:54, I believe.
Yep.
And you'll notice the estimate is a little bit higher than that. It's 24 and a half minutes. And that estimate was sort of hammered out through a series of runs where Absent just went for every strat once, and if it failed, just moved on. There's a lot of precise tricks to do. So it's pretty innocuous in Artisans up through Stonehill and Town Square, but as you'll see, he's going to do the wall glide into Toasty, and first on the list is my personal favorite, Dog Proxy. Dog Proxy, basically, you get knocked into a dog, and then the dog's hitbox, which has been inactive, becomes active again and pushes Spyro way up and out.
Nice.
Just like that. Good work. Good work. So yeah, that is compared to running to the end of the level, normally about 19 seconds saved. That was discovered, I think, accidentally by Jumpy Luff and Saboom during a two-player, one-controller playthrough of the game. I don't recall which category, probably 120. And later implemented, I think, in the last Spyrothon for the Vortex task that Xando Toaster put together. And shortly after that, an RTA setup for it was developed, and it started getting to run. So we're about done with Artisans. You're going Magic Crafters next?
Yep.
All right, so in this route, we're going to Magic Crafters next, primarily to get the one big piece of RNG out of the way. And that piece of RNG has a name, and its name is Tuco. And Tuco is the Magic Crafter's balloonist. Now, Tuco has a very special quality. See, with all the other balloonists, when you input that cheat at the start, they all allow you to just go to any world you want, but Tuco has special dialogue that was never truncated as a result of that code being entered. So Tuco will try to send you to one of 5 places in the game if you do not have the 5 egg requirement. 2 of them are desirable, Dry Canyon and Clifftown, both in Peacekeepers. He'll also try to send you to Magic Crafter's homeworld where you are, just till you get to the thieves there, grab their eggs. No, you're fine. He will try to send you to Wizard Peak, tell you to go up the hill behind you, go do that, or he'll try to inject you directly into Stone Hill. And with Clifftown and Dry Canyon, he also directly injects you into those levels, which saves you a load screen, which saves time. So he's going to roll that once, I believe, and if it doesn't work, we'll just move on. Alpine, a pretty cut and dry level. You just run to the end. Not a lot of flashy stuff there. Big jump at the start, which is pretty precise, but it can be learned. High caves, pretty similar, just sort of running to the end. But there's going to be some more skips coming up between High Caves and Wizard Peak. There's a scenery jump. In Wizard Peak, there are some neat skips. There's a scenery jump and potentially a damage boost if that fails as a backup, both of which are pretty neat. And then a damage boost coming up in Blowhard. Damage boosting is a fun mechanic. When Spyro bonks into a wall, he stores the momentum that he has when he made contact and that animation started. And if that, at least while he's airborne, if he takes certain kinds of damage, that momentum gets released. And if he's lined up with a wall that is sloped away from him, it'll drive him right up that wall. And you see that effect at play at many different points during the course of the Vortex run. To go into his crime. Very nice. Very nice. It's a fun little flop. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Just like I said, in Blowhard, got a damage boost. Happens really early in the level. I think it's about 8 seconds or so over just running through normally, damaging Blowhard, running through the center of the level. Very clean. Just right over that wall. There's some really goofy things you can do with that damage boost as well, but they're basically all TAS only. This run is sort of the outlet for a bunch of really wacky tricks that you wouldn't otherwise see in either of the main categories.
Tuca's not being nice today.
Yep. That is a 2 in 5 chance, so 40%. So missing that roll on Tuca, missing the RNG, costs a load screen and the movement into Dry Canyon, which seems to total around 18 seconds or so. Dry Canyon, there's not much going on in the RTA strats, but there's a very entertaining wall glide in the task that occurs on the wall to the left of where Spyro flies in, where you go all the way around that plateau in the center and then charge up to the Vortex. Wall gliding is a mechanic that I believe Lucatimus covered in his any percent run. If you glide into an inclined wall at 10 or 20 degrees or so, Spyro will maintain or gain height, and that's abused in many areas and many runs. And it's just a lot of fun. Clifftown also pretty cut and dry, but there's a neat set of magic stairs at the end that are a lot of fun to do, but very precise. then coming up after this is Dr. Shimp. And there's a strat that was recently developed in that level that is about a 20-second time save that Absent will be going for once. And hopefully we get to see it because it's very cool.
I'm pretty good at it today. Practice it a bit. But it's not easy.
No, it's very precise.
So yeah, I guess. Right.
So the way that works, it starts with kiting the enemy. The runners in Dr. Shimp are kind of strange in that they're one of the only enemies that will, I guess, actively track and run after someone. And that can be abused to wedge him into that corner, as you saw, which is a really easy manip. But you get into the corner, you roll into the corner because that prevents the hitbox of the enemy from pushing Spyro out of the corner. So you roll 3 or 4 times to stay wedged basically inside that enemy's hitbox. And then as you take damage, you jump up and out, and it's a very, very small window to execute that jump, maybe a couple frames. But if you get it, you get launched straight up far enough to make it to a portion of the wall that has no collision, and you just glide straight through and get a scenery proxy out of the other side of the wall, and it boosts you straight up and into the vortex. Ice Cavern, you just saw. Very short level, but very simple. Just running to the end. The music thing get explained. No, it didn't. Thank you. You may have noticed that there's no music. That's because Absent is running on an emulator called Mednafin. And on PS1 emulators and PS1 hardware, muting the music improves load times on the order of maybe 1/3 of a second per level load, which isn't much on its own, but if you're going into almost every level, it's quite a lot. It also improves the load times for dragons, but we only collect 1 dragon in this run, and that's out of necessity. And that's in Nasty's world. I believe that's Delbin for the second time. Well, first time in this run, but second instance of Delbin in the game. If you do this on PS2, would you not need to mute? That's correct. Fastest speed removes any need to manipulate audio for the sake of time save. In Terrace, you just saw he used an enemy, he damage boosted off of an enemy to get up to that platform, and then did that glider on the wall. The landing after that glide is a bit sketchy. It's very hairy because it's a very narrow strip that you have to aim for. Next to the fan chest. And if you bonk the fan chest, it is painful. Bog, pretty cut and dry. It's just a straight line. You got to drown a couple times, but it's a straight line. Now, there's a little bit of consideration going into getting fodder. You'll notice he waited and rolled into treetops. He waited on sparks there to get fodder, because we want to make sure that we have gold sparks. We want all 3 hits going into Metalhead, because there is a wall glide in Metalhead that takes Spyro out of bounds. That is also, I think, on the order of about 8 seconds. Time save, and it's very strange, but you need to damage abuse 3 times to execute the strat successfully. Treetops is a hard level. It's a pretty precise jump. It's easy to mess that one up. The whirlwind and then directly around. Very clean. And this series of damage abuses is why we needed Sparks to be at full health. You cannot make it over here taking fewer than 3 hits.
Unless you're a TAS.
Unless you're a TAS. Well, yeah, and the TAS strat for that is hilarious because there's maybe pixel wide bit of like standable or at least like charge jumpable terrain on the very edge of the water. It's really goofy. It's really goofy to see. If you guys have not seen the TAS for this that Toaster put together, Xando Toaster, it's on his YouTube channel. I believe maybe on the Spyrothon channel, commentated as well, and it's well worth a watch.
You can do the same thing in Misty Bog. Instead of drowning on the way to the Vortex, you can just, at least for part of it.
That's true, yeah. So, in Haunted, we got a couple of neat strats. The first is a proxy up off of a wizard, which saves about 13 seconds, prevents you from having to go to one of the fairies, and puts you directly into this whirlwind. And then there's a turnaround supercharge and a series of jumps that are pretty precise. Very nice. Well done.
It's the one that I was most worried about, because if you screw those up, there's no recovery.
No, there's not. There is no recovery for that one. It is a brutal time loss if you fail any one of those jumps. But yeah, very well done. In Dark Passage, we have another instance of damage boosting, which is probably the most precise in terms of like alignment in the run and timing. Maybe not timing, but across like all dimensions, it's factoring all those things in. It becomes one of the most complex. Very well done. So the challenging thing about that is that you only have about a Spyro's width area on the side of that archway, where the geometry above you will not interrupt Spyro's upward momentum. So you have to be positioned and angled at almost exactly the right place. Lofty's pretty simple. Just running to the end.
A little bit of a beef there.
Honestly, just jumping from platform to platform is harder for me than any of the tricks. Movement is the true final boss in this game. There's some wacky strats here too if you're talking about a task setting that you can find and see on display in the aforementioned task. Lofty is one of my favorite levels for something called the Turkey Elevator, and that's all I'll say. Ooh, ooh.
I
Dude, my heart stopped. I thought Latif was about to be free.
Nope.
Nope.
Not today.
Nope. Sorry, Latif. We got places to be. Jacques has some tight movement, potentially. This jump in particular. That's a pretty difficult jump to get, much less get consistently. But apart from that, it's pretty cut and dry. Just running to the end, you kill Jacques. There's... Oh, this is the holy grail, in terms of time save. If you guys can find a way to do this quicker, you'll be legends. Have at it. And that wraps up for everything but Nasty's World. And from this point forward, it's basically like the end of an any percent. If you aren't doing, yeah, TH skip or coveless. It's an any percent with Twilight Harbor. Just as fast as possible. So we free Delphin, we do the skip in North Cove to get to the end, and then there's some interesting strats in Twilight Harbor. Are you gonna go for that?
Yep.
All right, full send. This wall can be a bit of a pain if you are moving, if you have any directional input on that wall that is happening concurrently with Spyro's jump. It will eat your glide. You will only be able to charge down. So you have to land on the wall, go completely neutral on directional input, jump, and then push forward and glide. Getting into Twilight Harbor now, there is a fun supercharged strat coming up. Where we use a ledge to get a supercharge jump, as if we were going off the end of a ramp. Very clean wall glide there. And, well,
Bit too low.
Bit too low, yeah. Well, how are you not shot right now? Look at that. You walked right through those bullets. You walked right through those bullets. Hey, well, hey, maybe another shot. You might actually get to see the strat. Why not, right?
May as well. Keep getting like a weird...
Yeah, a bit low there. That's fine. With the strat that he was going for, you have to get the supercharge, and getting a supercharge there can be kind of a pain. You have to get a very high jump, and you have to start charging after you've glided past the drawbridge. So you have to be above that whole area, that whole strip of scenery coming down from the supercharge ramp is also a supercharge ramp. It extends all the way up to the very edge of that drawbridge, which is why you can catch supercharge there. So if you have sufficient height and you charge while over the, even though it's flat, over the supercharge ramp, you can catch supercharge. So you catch supercharge, jump off of the ledge, get on top of that building that is right above Cletus, right above the dragon right there. And then you have two options there. You can do a wall glide over to the Vortex, or you can jump in between a smokestack and a wall and get a like scenery pinch proxy that will send Spyro straight up. And you can catch a glide out of that, make it up to the Vortex. Both of those set it, I don't know, 3 to 5 seconds set time save, depending on which one you go for. The wall glide's slightly faster. In Nasty, of course, Quick Thieves, and time is coming up when he hits Nasty for the final time. Rest in peace. Good game. Very good game.
Toast, Nork.
That was Vortex.
All right, awesome run. I want to point out specifically the Metalhead and the Dark Passage. I was really impressed by both of those.
Nasty Nork is toast.
Yeah.
So now there's in the Dragon Kingdom.
Let's see here.
Well, mostly.
Where could we find
Still got some
both of you guys if we wanted to see either of you streaming some
I'd
Spyro?
say the sky's the limit.
I'm on Twitch as Absentfriend. One word, no spaces or underscores.
Yep, and I am at twitch.tv/Faarnia. That's Faarnia. I do Vortex primarily, and Absent's been chipping away at some Spyro 3 Inning.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much. I mean, Faarnia is always a wealth of knowledge when it comes to these categories like this, so it's great to hear him, and really great presentation from Absent as well. So we are going to take a few minutes here to set up for the next run. It's going to be another Spyro the Dragon run for kind of the end of our Spyro the Dragon block here. And it's going to be 80 Dragons by Yes Wally. So if you were here at the start, you might have seen the Spyro Reignited trilogy version of 80 Dragons. It's very different from the original, so there will be some differences, and that's going to be done by Yes Wally, and it's going to be a good time. So we're just going to take a few minutes to get that set up, and then we'll be right on with that.